Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you for joining me here. I hope you're having a phenomenal day. Let's take a quick look here at SUI, see what's going on. Looking pretty darn good here, honestly. We got a retest of this local high range, so there's potential to see the price pull back a little bit, especially if Bitcoin does. But for the most part, this is looking like a pretty strong little pattern, potential head and shoulders or inverse head and shoulders pattern. But more importantly, we broke our descending trend line. Some really good stuff here. So not saying you should just go balls to the wall with a long position right now, but I do think that that's more likely. We're more likely to see the price go higher than lower at this point. Okay, so a lot of it does depend on Bitcoin, obviously. So we're going to double check this here and see where we're at with liquidation first. So if you're new to the channel, hit the like button, comment below. Join us over at Bitunix too, folks. Awesome deposit reward bonus and some nice things up for grab there between now and June 18th. Otherwise, let's go ahead and see what the back end liquidation data looks like to start. So I always like to look at this here, kind of give us perspective on incentive for the whales, because whales love to sweep late longs and late shorts. And at this point, 340 to 350 is that closer approximation of liquidation. Obviously, the low fours to upper fives, or sorry, basically the $4 range is that next area where we'll worry about that later. But immediately 350 to 340 is that local range. Now, when we look at liquidation delta, we can see we're still on the green side here. So we've been green and we're bullish all weekend. So it's generally a favorable sign and telling us that we're more likely to go higher than lower. Okay, so just keep that in mind. We don't want to overextend ourselves too far, but if pending that doesn't get too crazy out of control with volume, we should be in good shape. But increased volume, more people taking longs and shorts, that just kind of implies sustainability or continuation higher. All right, it's kind of the concept there. So this is the last 1 month. I'm going to zoom into the last 7 days to kind of see open interest and where we're at here locally, just to kind of give us some perspective. We got a lot of support below the price action, specifically at 330 and 328. So just a round number 330, and then also 320. So the upper and lower area of this local range here is the likely area there of support. Okay, so that kind of reaffirms where we're at here. And what that does is that tells us we had a nice little bullish backtest of this descending trend line, and we're off to the races above all moving averages. These are usually things I like to look for when I'm considering taking long positions. Now, thing you want to recognize though, from a macro perspective, and this is consistent with a lot of coins right now, it is not looking fantastic in the regards of moving averages being above the price action, right? So 350 to 340, a lot of resistance above us. We got the fair value gap as well that should be filled, but from a daily time frame, we still haven't fully broken bullish yet. We want to be able to get above 50 on the RSI as a starting point, and the money flow index needs to remain high. Right now, volume doesn't look phenomenal in all truth, at least from a macro perspective. We can zoom in, obviously that might change a little bit, but for the most part here, the daily time frame still isn't like in phenomenal shape. The benefit here is that we have broken our descending trend line here, and we're back up over all moving averages in the 4-hour time frame, at least all relevant moving averages. We still got the 200 hanging out at about 360, so oftentimes you're going to consider securing profits between now and then was a good recommendation. Okay, so that's kind of the concept there. So when we take a look here at the 4-hour time frame, we want to recognize as well mostly positive. In fact, there's dang near everything telling us, and this is the consistent on majority of all altcoins right now. We're looking very strong here in the overall sentiment. Okay, now if we take a look at Bitcoin dominance is still increasing, right? So that's generally not the greatest sign, but if you do take a look at kind of like how that's supposed to work, here I got my little I think I got my cheat sheet on here, don't we? There we go. So with Bitcoin dominance is increasing and the price of Bitcoin goes up, altcoins are generally supposed to go down, which they're not doing so right now. Okay, so kind of a bit of a contradiction. This is one of those interesting things where alts are kind of pumping with Bitcoin while Bitcoin dominance is increasing. Generally, I don't love kind of trading these kind of conditions, but once more, if you were to, just make sure you use some caution there and don't be just kind of ridiculous with your leverage, right? Some people will do that. Now, other than that, really, there's not much else to really confirm because the hourly time frame is going to say that we're in good shape here too. So the key takeaway here is that smaller time frames indicate further upside. Okay, lower time frames indicate, larger time frames indicate that we haven't truly broken through that threshold, that resistance at 350 yet. So I would just consider, securing profits between now and like the 350 to 360 range if you're in a long. If you want to wait for a bullish backtest at a local high, that's also a good consideration at 330 because we had this previous range here between 320 and 330. There's a lot of support there based on open interest. So those are things I like to look for. So the key takeaway here is it's more positive than negative. The likelihood of going up than down is greater right now. Just be careful being a breakout trader here. But on the same accord, we may not even see that pullback to 330 A lot of it depends on Bitcoin, okay? So all in all, very good stuff. I like what I see here, and this is definitely a consideration for a long on my short list here today. All right, folks, thanks again so much for watching. Once more, like, subscribe, follow. Join us over at Bitunix, Twitter, Telegram, and Discord as well if you want. I have a lot of good content there flowing through as well. Hope you have a good one. Thanks again for your time. We'll see you soon.